Hey, what's up, YouTube? Mike here with another video. Wanted to talk about a couple things this week, and I just wanted to thank all the new subscribers and for the people that keep watching. I appreciate it. I'm gonna try to do at least a video once a week to, try to keep content going. If I have something else, I'll just post it whenever I feel like it. But pretty much, I want to talk about time management and how I schedule my jobs. And I don't really have a set format at the moment. Usually it's like 8 to 12, 12 to 5. Those are the, I guess, standard. But a lot of times she schedules jobs depending on how the customer, that customer's day is. We kind of accommodate them. So sometimes I get a 10 to 2, or sometimes I get a 9 to 1, or a 9 to 12. It all depends, because if a customer can't be, I won't be home until 9, then that's what we have to do. Other than that, I want to say I'm 95% on time. Like, usually, that's one thing with me. I'm a big stickler for time. Like, I don't like people wasting my time, so I don't want to waste people's time. So at the end of the day, I will call people and let them know, say, hey, I'm running late. It's going to be this amount of time. It's going to be that. Just because I know how time is. So time, make sure that you schedule accordingly. She knows the certain jobs I have. Usually if it's installs and they're over an hour, she sets them up in the day that I have jobs to go alongside that are not too overbearing. Like, my day is just not just packed, with just big things to do, or long jobs. So yeah, you got to take in mind of that. But when you're out here trying to make it, make money, sometimes it's just, you got to do what you got to do. But when you have it organized, you can kind of work it the way where you don't kill yourself or overwork yourself. Especially if you're a single man show like me, so. Another thing too is that I wanted to talk about re-education, as far as making sure you know what you're doing out here and making sure you don't guess. That's one thing I always try to eliminate: no guessing. Making sure I know what's what, pulling up the tech sheet of that unit, and just troubleshooting. That's the whole point of our job. We have to, and that's the thing, we have to have access to all these tech sheets for different appliances. So it's good to have that type of information. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten to a job, and I don't want to say I'm stuck, because I've years of doing this where I can point myself in the right direction what to look for, but there's so much electronics and so much, you never know. You have to be sure. So training, I can't tell you how many times still, to this day, that I go on YouTube watching stuff, making sure I'm sharp in skills, making sure I keep up with all the new technology. One thing I want to stress is making sure you have a good meter. Without a meter, I don't know what I would do. You just be guessing a lot, pretty much, in this day and age. I had a job. Like I said, everything's on my Instagram, so you can go and look. Whirlpool range, F8E0 error code, and I know from experience dealing with them, if you don't test things properly, you can, go back with the wrong part. So just and it's either between the blower motor or the hall sensor. But I didn't just magically know it. I had to look up information and make sure I know what's the proper resistance I need to check for the fan. So what I usually do is I'll check the old part to the new part to see what's the reason why it's not working or why it's not. That's you got to kind of take yourself to school out here if you really want to learn how to do this and be the best. Don't just change parts. Don't be a parts changer. When I was working for another company, my old boss used to tell me there's a big difference between a part changer and a repairman. That's what this is him telling me. He's an old school country guy, and he's like, anybody can change parts, anybody, but it takes a real professional or a person who is dedicated to their work to really troubleshoot and make sure the thing is fixed properly. And I remember learning, the first meter I learned on was an analog meter. It wasn't a digital meter. So, you know, those are the meters where you have to zero them out, make sure they're reading accurately. Big difference from, you know, when I got my first digital meter. I can't tell you how many meters I've tried almost every brand. Right now I have the main one I use is a Fluke, but I like to see if, you know, comparing each meter to the other. So sometimes I might use my other meter. It all depends on how I'm feeling. But you have to invest in your business, invest in these things. Like, I want to say, like the video I did with showing my van where I have the lift, I probably don't use the lift. I don't use it every month because I don't do a lot of wall oven installs, and certain jobs I don't have to pull out the wall oven. So, you know, sometimes it's just right there, control panel or elements or whatever the case may be. But I know I will need it, and when I do, I have it. So invest in your business, invest in yourself. I'm not saying go out and get the best tools. I don't have all the best tools. I just know I have reliable tools. And when you're doing it so long, you know, years, you'll end up building up tools. And I have so much tools and tool bags and different meters, and I'm kind of a tool freak too. I like having different types of tools. I mean, I carry 2 drills in my bag, just one with my Phillips, and I call that the one that I use everything for. If I have to change bits, and then my other drill is just dedicated to 1/4 inch and 5/16. So if I'm in a house and I know I'm dealing with just that, I'll pull out that drill, and sometimes I'm interchanging them. I guess for me, I save time by not having to change them out, which it only takes a second, but that's just the type of person I am. Everybody's different in their own way. I just, you know, want to make sure I go out there and have every tool I need to make sure the job is complete. I remember there was one instance when I don't want to say when I first started, but it may be the second year, and I was still getting my tools up, because when I first started and I was just training, I had a 6-in-1 screwdriver, you know, the ones you can change them, and it has the Phillips screws and has all different types. I had that. I didn't even have a meter yet. Some wrench. This is in my toolbox I had, because I didn't know what I needed for appliance repair. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But as I was going and seeing the basic tools that you need, you're basically getting tools from different trades and putting them in one. Sometimes, you know, when you have different stuff. I can't tell you how many videos I watched and took this idea from that, you know, just incorporated into myself, because why not, you know? And that's why I share my information, because you can take the same ideas and incorporate it into your business, you know? So that's the main thing I want to stress on, is when you're running a business and you're presenting yourself out there, you want to make sure that you're, you know, on point and professional, just like if you're working for a company. So I can't tell you how many times I've walked into a house and they didn't know I'm the business owner. They thought I was just a guy that worked, because well-dressed, you know, a lot of times, I don't want to say everybody, I don't want to say everywhere, but I guess from what I've noticed is that when it's a person that's a single man operation, they're not always the, I don't want to say best dressed or most organized or most professional, but it might be that. There's guys that work for companies that usually have, you know, just what I've noticed. I don't want to say that's accurate, but that's just what I've noticed and what customers have told me. So I'm assuming that's what it is. But when I go into people's houses, sometimes they think, oh, you're Mike? You're I'm like, yeah, it's me. And I'm assuming because I look young, you know, I still don't look that old yet, but you know, a lot of people incorporate age with wisdom. So I have to make sure I know everything that I possibly can about what I'm working on. That's the main thing. You want to go in there and have confidence that whatever you're dealing with, you can take it apart. There's still stuff that I work on now that I'll go there and never took it apart before, but since I know the basics on how a lot of appliances are, and you know, you'll figure it out. There's no way you won't figure it out if you want to do this. So another thing too, I had a question. Somebody asked me a question about parts, and I think I already explained about how I get my parts in my parts account. Main thing you want to do, whatever local parts store you have, you just want to go there and inquire about getting an account with them and what it takes. Like I said, my main account that I have, that I first started, let me say, because I have other accounts now, but when I first started, I started off with Mark Home because that's over 10 years, that's where I've been going. So that's what I know. They don't have the best prices, I know that, but that's the people in there, they know me, and so that's where I went. I went there, got a cash account, and after 6 months, I got a regular account, a credit account. And to be honest with you, having that big help. Because let's just say you have I did put up a job where I had to get a control board. The control board was $230 something. Now, aside from using my own money, I could if I needed to, but I'd rather have an account, parts account, wait till I get paid for that job and then pay it off with that money instead of using money that I already have. Even though, it's all business the same, but it just feels better for me personally in how I run my business. So having a parts account and managing it is essential. I started off with what limit? $1,000 limit, and every month I was going over that. So after another 6 months, they raised it to another $1,000. So you'll get there. You just have to work your way up. Sometimes it's like that. You just have to make sure you invest in yourself, because once you do good and you start doing good and you're making good money, then everything else will come after that. Hold on one second, guys. I'm taking this phone call. Yeah, guys, back with you. Just got a phone call from the office. What happened was a customer, it was a Bosch washer. I changed their water valve. Everything's fine with that, but they have a Bosch dryer now that is not drying properly. But when I was there, I checked their vent and all that is fine. So most likely it needs a thermostat, because it is drying. It's just taking longer to dry. See, certain things you kind of can pick up on when you learn. You'll know that there's only a couple things that'll cause a dryer not to dry properly. So yeah, so I have to order that part. And that's one thing, you do good work, they're gonna want you to work on everything else. So it's not gonna be that hard to get, or keep getting business as long as you do good work. That's one thing I want to stress. As long as you do good work, you will make it out here. You will don't worry about it, because somebody will pass your card along. Everybody has appliances. Something's gonna break. That's just how it goes. And that's the best thing I can say about that. But another thing too is making sure that you pay everything on time when it comes to those parts, because you don't want to have people calling you and then messing up your business credit, because essentially that's what it's a credit line extended to your business. So that's why you want to make sure this van, like I said, is in my business name. I made sure, even though I took a higher interest rate, but I wanted to make sure that I build something that doesn't need me personally to acquire things. I want the business to acquire things for themselves. So in your parts account, now there's other ways I do get parts. Amazon, eBay, Reliable, whoever has the cheapest part, that I can get it, and the fastest I can get it, I usually go with that. So it's all, and making sure you have warranty on those parts you get, because if anything goes wrong and the part doesn't work, you're at a loss, and then you have to get another one. So make sure that you just do your due diligence and do your research. There's a lot of things when it comes to this appliance repair business that you have to do your research on. There's a lot that I didn't know when I started my business, and I've been doing this for over 10 years. It's gonna be 14 next year. It's like 13 and a half now. I don't want to even say I pretty much started when I was a kid. That's what I want to say. It's been around that time. It's gonna be 3 years in business, a couple months. So, and I'm still making it. I'm proud of myself. Young guy. You have to kind of teach yourself the business. If you're already business minded and know how to run a business, you're fine. It's just making sure you keep up with the training, because you still have to train yourself. But once you get as much experience, it's just kind of natural, just adding to pages in the book. You know what I'm saying? So there's times where I run into stuff that I already know and have to just double check. And that's why your phone is your best friend. Your phone, your iPad, anything like that, where you can have all your information when you need it. And that's why pre-trip diagnosis is essential to know what's going on. But every day, you know, I'm in a house where if I don't have the tech sheets for that code, I have to go on my phone, look it up. That's what it is. You know, I have to do that. Like I said, I get a lot of warranty work, so a lot of times it's tenant-landlord situation. I don't know what I'm getting into, but I have to go. I got to get it. And to me, it's kind of exciting going to the unknown and fixing it and just getting it done. That keeps, you know, a challenge to me. Everything is a challenge, whether it's a pre-diagnosis or not, because it's not easy. But going in there not knowing what it is and coming out triumphant is even better. I can't, you know, I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. But that's it for this week. I made it longer than I wanted to. Sometimes I just ramble. But appreciate you guys for watching. Take care.